As a child, Kaigaku was an orphan. He was taken in by Gyome Himejima as he took in many children and cared for them. One night, a demon came to attack their temple. From Gyome's point of view, it seemed like Kaigaku had stayed out too long and attracted a demon, the one he had let inside to save his own skin, extinguishing the wisteria incense they had outside as protection. However, an important part of the story was missing. Kaigaku was outside that evening, and did in fact attract the demon, but it was because the other orphan had caught him stealing money from their temple and chased him away. Spitefully, Kaigaku had put out the only thing protecting them that evening, and they were all attacked and killed, except one young orphan and Gyome. A few years later, Kaigaku became a student of Jigoro Kuwajima for Hashira training, and became the senior to Zenitsu Agatsuma. They both studied the thunder style of breathing, but Kaigaku believed that Zenitsu would go nowhere due to his personality of being a coward and crybaby. Kaigaku thought he was the antithesis of what was needed for a future pillar in the Demon Slayer Corps. Kaigaku also held Jigoro in high regard and despised when Zenitsu would call him Gramps, even though he meant it affectionately. It made it seem like he was being too familiar with him, and Kaigaku thought that the former pillar deserved much more respect than that. Kaigaku believed it was of the utmost honor to be taught by a former Hashira, especially one that survived long enough to retire. This was also why Kaigaku refused to help Zenitsu when he would come to him for guidance on becoming a better fighter. It was a waste of time in his eyes. Only the strong were of any importance or use, and all Zenitsu could use was the first form. He would berate him, throw food at him, and tell him to leave each time he tried to get any help. On the other hand, Kaigaku could use all forms of thunder breathing except the first form, the most important, and the foundation for them all. People would speak ill of Kaigaku behind his back, saying he would die soon as he wasn't good enough to learn the first form. Zenitsu tried to defend him, but Kaigaku only took it as weakness and shame and told him not to embarrass him again. He received letters from Zenitsu, but never once replied to any, still holding hatred against the junior slayer. As a demon slayer, Kaigaku encountered one of the upper moons, the strongest of them all actually, Kokushibo. He knew he was too weak to beat Kokushibo, so he dropped down in front of him, his sword in front of him in utter surrender. Kaigaku thought even if he had to commit crimes, lie, and steal, beg for his life, it was all worth it if he could live one more day. It gave him the opportunity to become strong enough to win the next time. But this time, he thought he might die, facing the upper rank 1 demon. Instead, Kokushibo understood his worth and offered him the chance to become even stronger than he was as a slayer. He gave him blood from Muzan's cells in his body and the chance to get more should Kaigaku be recognized by him. There was a risk. The stronger the swordsman who received the demon blood, the more difficult it would be for him to turn. Kaigaku could also die if his body decided to reject the blood instead, due to knowing breathing techniques. And most frighteningly, if Kaigaku spilled even a drop, he would be killed immediately by Kokushibo for disrespecting Muzan's blood. In the end, Kaigaku's transformation succeeded. As a demon, he gained stripes on his face, like a tiger, pointed ears, and darkened eyes. His outfit stays almost the same, his dark jacket and pants, and even the same necklace he was wearing before becoming a demon slayer. Like his elder former slayer Kokushibo, Kaigaku still wields the Nichiren blade from his time as a demon slayer. However, it is modified with his demon blood, and now contains part of that to enhance his techniques when using thunder breathing. It's important to note, however, he still could not use the first form. During the Hashira training arc, Kaigaku's acts as a failed demon slayer come to light. His master, Jigoro, then commits seppuku from the shame of having raised a failed user in the thunder breathing style. But no one is there to decapitate him to end his life quicker, and he must suffer through the pain. This is revealed to Zenitsu at the same time by a letter. Later on, the two would meet for the first time since leaving their master in Muzan's Infinity Castle. Kaigaku would goad Zenitsu about still looking shabby and weak, and only knowing the first form of thunder breathing. When he notices Zenitsu's sharp tongue, Kaigaku is almost pleased that he's become less of a crybaby. He doesn't care about Jigoro having killed himself because people who don't value him don't matter. He had no plans of becoming a joint successor and wanted to be the sole successor for thunder breathing. But Jigoro refused, so he deserved to die. Kaigaku only intends to ever serve people who know his value and treat him as such. With nothing but rage in his heart, Kaigaku curses Jigoro for his foolish choices and wishes death upon Zenitsu as well. When Zenitsu insults Kaigaku about being just as lowly as he is, both of them incomplete thunder breathing users, Kaigaku races towards him, but isn't fast enough to avoid Zenitsu's attack on his neck. For a moment, he's taken aback, but Kaigaku realizes that he doesn't fear Zenitsu the way he does Kokushibo, who helped turn him. As he unleashes a combination of 5 breathing techniques at Zenitsu, one's infused with his blood demon art and the thunder forms, Zenitsu is overwhelmed momentarily. His attacks combine both sharpness and heat, burning flesh as it rends it, and continuing to do so even after the attack is done. Realizing Kaigaku has likely eaten many people, Zenitsu argues that he's lost his moral compass. But once again, Kaigaku points out that all that matters is his recognition, and that people who do see his worth are the only ones considered good. As Kaigaku appreciates the view of Zenitsu falling through the castle, he's taken aback when one final attack, faster than any that came before, takes his head from his neck in one slice. As he dies, he screams that he knew Jigoro showed favoritism towards Zenitsu, seeing as he had this hidden attack. But Zenitsu tells him it was his own creation and that Jigoro treated them as equals. Overtaken by his anger in his defeat, Kaigaku can only be glad for the fact that Zenitsu doesn't have the strength to save himself from falling. Yushiro appears as Kaigaku is disintegrating, thinking this final thought, letting him know that there's more to life than being valued by whoever you come across. Since Kaigaku never offered to help others or any kindness, he now has to die alone with no one to mourn him. Very deep stuff right there. The story of Kaigaku is one filled with life lessons, and really that's Demon Slayer in its entirety. In the comments, let us know what you take away from this character backstory. And as always, if you haven't already, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to Plot Armor with notifications on to never miss an upload. We upload almost daily and would love to have you join in on our conversations. Until next time, keep that Plot Armor on you. I'm KJ, have a great day, goodbye.